Good morning, happy Monday. My name is Luna Hunbun. I'm a variety streamer. I generally play RPGs, JRPGs, and MMOs. I'm live every day on Twitch except on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Today we're doing a final review we're looking at a final review for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The game is scheduled to come out April 24th of 2025. We're leading the members of Expedition 33 on a quest to destroy the Paintress so that she can never paint death again. You are exploring a world of wonders inspired by Belle Époque France and the battle unique enemies in a turn-based RPG with real-time mechanics. The game sets itself apart with these mechanics. So not only are you able to interact with the characters, but while they're coming, you can dodge, you can parry, and you can even enjoy the game. One of the things that I think is really interesting about Clair Expedition is that it grabs us by the throat from the jump, and it doesn't let go for a single second. And it makes it really special with the beautiful art that it represents, and it's wonderful. So I wanted to take a look at it, and it's right here.
Years ago, a mentor told me.
I forgot to turn off music. Okay.
That the most important part of any story is surprise. A few years later, a writer I deeply respect wrote that perhaps the difference between good and great writing
The environment is
technique,
just so beautiful.
Even that was probably not as important.
You're
as
gonna play it
conviction.
too?
But what keeps us invested in the story is curiosity, the gap between what we know and what we need to know, the questions that drive us. Combine all three, and you tend to create something special.
I think that's something that set games apart. If that's something that I was just talking about yesterday with animes, if you can set a bar and surpass it, that's amazing. Most times, I feel like games or animes or shows or whatever, they'll give you the story right out the gate, and then by the time you get to the actual thing, you already know what's gonna happen. So if they're able to have you set you up for the story and then be like, oh no, we're going a completely different direction and keep you guessing, that's what makes games exciting and so wonderful. And I think that that's amazing. Josh, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in.
That grabbed us from the jump, that connected with us in some unexpected way. A game that surprised us, whose belief in itself was obvious from the first frame, that made us want to explore. I have played a lot of video games, friends, and that feeling is increasingly rare for me.
See? It's very rare.
So when I
very
tell you
rare
that
for
Clair
games to do
Obscur Expedition 33 grabbed me by the throat from the jump and didn't let go for a single second of the 3.5-hour demo I played twice, believe me when I tell you, that's some powerful magic.
Expeditioners, we do not take for granted that you dedicate your final year of life to keeping hope alive for all of Lumiere.
If you're unfamiliar, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has a pretty fascinating setup. See, there's this being called the Paintress, and every year she paints a new number. When she does, every person of that age dies. Poof, vanishes, turns to dust. Do
I
not
was
pass
wondering
go, do not collect $200. And
what
thing
the number
she's
represented.
Counting down. Every year, the people die.
I thought the number was just that they were sent out as number 33, you know? Like if you think about like a spaceman and they go and they do their they're like, oh, this is team 1, this is team 2. I thought that they were just Expedition 33. I had no idea that that's what the number was correlating with. That's actually really interesting.
Get younger. So every year, the people of Lumiere send a volunteer expedition of people with 1 year left to live on a desperate, impossible, doomed mission to go to the continent across the sea and kill the Paintress, so she can never...
Wait, so you mean to tell me these people are 33? I mean 34? There's no way. Lucky, hi, welcome in.
Again.
You battle the Paintress. No,
This,
Lumiere fights
all these people are
You'll find
34
journals
years
from
old.
Expedition 84, so if you can do the math in your head, you'll get how desperate this whole thing is and how young, but still older than the average RPG protagonist, your characters are.
I could believe. I could believe that he's 34.
And lay the trail for the ones you come after.
Things get weirder once
But
your
her?
crew lands on the continent.
And the
They
redhead?
almost immediately run into an old
They look
man
good.
who nearly dispatches the whole expedition single-handedly. You play as Gustav, one of the survivors, traumatized and alone, walking through countless corpses from other expeditions and his own. He's about to shoot himself when he's found by Lune, another member of the expedition.
You do that. We both die.
She's not blind to reality. They're probably both going to die, but expedition members swear an oath.
When one falls, we continue.
As long as one of them stands, their fight isn't over. Lune and Gustav clearly care about one another.
You know that sounds like? That sounds like Marines. The few, the strong. When one falls, we continue. That's crazy. That's a crazy mindset. But that's powerful. So she's like, we have a mission. We're here to accomplish it, and we're going to continue to push forward. You don't look there. You don't. You don't.
They don't always get along. When they find an unsigned message indicating another member of Expedition 33, Maëlle, might still be alive, Gustav wants to drop everything and try to save her, and then get out of Dodge. Lune is worried that the whole thing is a trap. Expedition members are always supposed to sign their messages.
We have to go.
No. Not yet.
At one point, later on, Lune asks Gustav if he's a coward because he just wants to get Maëlle and get out. He's not. He's just dealing with watching almost everyone he knows die. And Lune,
That's a
she's
lot
the
to
one
take
that
in.
They should land on that beach in the first place. Neither one of them has it easy. These characters are adults, and they're written like it.
Come on, we always said the future of Lumiere is more important than
Any individual life, yes.
Do you still believe that?
They don't always agree. They're dealing with guilt and loss and trauma, and they're not always
I
kind
think this
to
is a
one another
beautiful
in the
story so
moment.
far. I like
But
that they give
care
life
about
to the
each other.
characters.
And at the end of that
And it's
exchange,
not just
once
like,
they've calmed down,
Oh yeah,
they
here's
share
some
a laugh.
dialogue. We're continuing on with our story though. Like you want to
Really?
hear their actual thoughts and
compelling characters are complex and flawed.
get more
and
enveloped in the
Expedition
character
33
development.
seems
I
to
think that that's
understand
really
that.
important in games too.
Even if they weren't, Expedition 33 could probably skate by on the world. My demo was fairly linear. There were branching paths with hidden grapple points, platforming, goodies,
Good
and
morning,
secrets to
Batman.
find,
Hi.
and tough
Happy
optional
Monday.
bosses to take on. But this isn't an open world game,
Whoa.
and it's better for it. Expedition 33 reminds me of Final Fantasy X. These environments may be linear, but they're gorgeous. Whether
Is she
you're
fine?
on
Look
top
at
of
someone
a
and
hill
wonder,
looking at the
what
indigo
is going
tree,
on
or
inside their
both
head?
underwater and somehow not, Expedition 33 is a visual feast, and I stopped in every environment I entered to marvel at the beauty and composition on
I think there's
display.
3 characters.
There's even a
Lucky.
world map you traverse to get from place to place, like the RPGs of old.
This will be useful.
What really hooked me, however, was the combat. Clair Obscur may be
The
turn-based,
combat
but
kinda
it's
reminds me,
non-DVD menu. There's
If
a
you've
lot of
ever
depth
seen
here.
Metaphor, that one I think it won Art of the Year last year actually. And this painting, like this the one on the left, they all look really similar to Metaphor. That had like that darker background, but it had like a really like eye-popping color to gather the rest of the attention for what it actually was trying to do. All 3 characters. Yes, I agree. That's very true, Lucky. Happy Monday.
Here. Every character has a melee and ranged attack, the latter of which must be aimed manually.
Oh, I like that you could
Melee
do both
attacks build
melee and
AP,
range. I was wondering
ranged
if that was a
attacks
thing.
spend it. You'll also need AP for skills, unique attacks that each character has in their arsenal. And on top of that, each character has a particular attribute. Gustav can use certain skills to build up stacks of overcharge, which he can spend to cash out for a devastating attack. Lune's spells grant elemental stains that can supercharge her other spells for additional effects and damage. And my favorite, Maëlle, you do rescue her. This isn't a spoiler, she's in Clair Obscur's trailers. Can switch between 3 different stances, offering buffs to attack, AP generation, and
Ooh,
defense.
she's a
Managing your
buffer
AP,
too?
setting up a big combo, and planning ahead matters. Like FF10, the turn order is displayed on the left side of the screen, so you can plan every turn in advance, but strategy is only half the battle. The other half is moment-to-moment execution. You don't just choose an option and wait for a canned animation to play out. When an enemy attacks you, you can dodge, parry, or jump to avoid it.
Ah, you
Dodging
can jump
avoids
too. I was
attacks,
like, I
while
thought there was a
parrying nets
third
you a
option.
potentially huge counterattack and awards AP, but has a tighter window. Sometimes the only way out is to jump over something. Sure, you can engage in the time-honored tradition of blocking with your face, but the harder fights are
Blocking
gonna
with
force
your
you to
face.
engage with these defensive mechanics. And if you parry an attack that hits your whole squad, all of them strike back in a beautifully choreographed counterattack that never gets old.
Oh, how cool.
Early on, I
If you
ran into a
perfect
very
parry,
powerful
then you can
enemy
do a
who killed my
counterattack.
characters in a single
Oh, I
hit.
love that.
But the thing was, he had to hit me. If I could parry him, I could win. It took me a couple tries on my first run. He had a tricky attack that forced me to parry or dodge twice in a row, but once I figured out I could parry the first hit and dodge the second, I managed to take him down.
Yeah, they say it's similar to Final Fantasy X.
Then there's the back-end stuff called Pictos and Luminas. You can equip up to 3 Pictos to any character, which provides buffs, like shooting this enemy might light them on fire, or attacks do more damage, or killing an enemy grants more AP, as well as stat upgrades. Win enough battles with a Picto equipped, and you can have everyone else equip its effects, minus the stat bonuses. And this is where you can do some really degenerate stuff.
I like that they
Sure,
feel
Mael
alive
has
in
a
like
skill
the
that
whole
puts
thing
her in
menus.
virtuoso
Because
stance
normally
where
when you
she
see
does
this, like the whole
200%
entire game
damage
pauses.
if she uses it while an enemy is
But I like
burning.
that they're still
Normally, you'd have to
living,
have somebody
breathing
use another skill to set this up. But what
Then
if you
happy
gave
Monday, how are
Gustav and
you?
Lune a Lumina that means their ranged attacks are likely to set enemies on fire? Or maybe you equip a Picto that cranks up your base attack damage, or that awards more AP for nailing a parry, allowing you to stay on the offensive longer than you'd normally be able to. Then you're cooking with gas.
Ooh.
Combine all of that, and battles offer a lot of interesting choices. If someone's low on health, do you spend an item or AP to bring them back up? Or do you bet it all on dodging or parrying the next attack?
Wow.
How do you level up your characters? Who gets what skill as a Picto so they can stack the right stats and they don't have to spend Lumina points to get that effect? And on it goes. And through it all, Expedition 33 is constantly finding new ways to make itself interesting. What's a Gestural, and why is Lune obsessed with them? Who is the Paintress, and what does she want? Why is the world the way that it is? Are all these
The world
beings
looks
actually
beautiful though. I
hostile?
love the
Some of them seem
underwater
pretty
scene.
friendly, and you have the option to
Like, that's
fight
what
them
I'm
or leave
really
them
looking
alone.
forward to.
What's the deal with that old man? How does any of this stuff work? In my demo, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 didn't stop to explain itself, and I appreciated that. It trusted me to figure things out, and I was more invested in what was going on as a result. Most importantly, I could never predict what would happen next. By the time "Thank you for playing" came up on my screen at the end of my demo, I was thoroughly hooked. On my second run-through, I found even more hidden areas, and laid the smackdown on one of the optional fights that had flummoxed me the first time around.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you for the follow earlier. I appreciate that.
When my
Thank
time
you.
with Clair Obscur Expedition 33
Maybe
was
welcome
up,
in.
I wasn't
Happy
ready
thank
to
you for the
stop.
bunch check-in.
I wanted to fight more battles, learn more about the world, and spend more time with these characters. Sandfall Interactive is a new studio, but you'd never know this was their first game from playing it.
This is their
Surprise,
first
conviction,
game?
Curiosity.
Wow, I
Clair
never would have
Obscur
expected
Expedition
that.
33 nails all 3. It
I
had
wonder-
my interest before I played it. Now it has my undivided attention. If Sandfall can
That's crazy. This is their first game ever? Sandfall Studios? Wait. That's crazy. That's amazing. For that to be their first game ever? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if they've been making the game, I wonder how long it took them to, one, make the game. And then 2, wow. But yeah, if you're interested in the game, you can wishlist it now on Steam. It will also be available on console. It's going to be coming out April 24th on 2025, which is in 7 weeks. And we're so excited. So even though it is a turn-based RPG, there's still the interactions where you can jump, parry, as well as perfect dodge. So if this is something you're interested in, don't forget to check it out. And there might be a new demo coming in the next coming weeks. And they also have it currently on sale. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.